The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
As long as we have Quinn Hughes, we have a huge chance of beating the Winnipeg Jets in the first round of the playoffs, let alone beating them tonight in game, 65, 66? A must-win game nonetheless of the playoffs
for your Vancouver
let alone
Canucks.
beating them.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's first round preview, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day. We're not here without you listening. We're also not here without those sponsors. And man, oh man, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Go download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. The Vancouver Canucks play the Winnipeg Jets tonight. And if the Vancouver Canucks do win this dogfight, because of course they're going to do it, baby. Let's go. Got to believe in the blue and green. When they win this dogfight to get into the playoffs, their most likely first round opponent is the Winnipeg Jets, a team who the Canucks have struggled immensely against over the past handful of seasons. So how can the Canucks beat the Jets tonight? But more importantly, what is the path of the Canucks to beat the Jets in the playoffs? Let's kick off today's episode touching about that, because there is a path for them to beat Winnipeg, believe it or not, because we believe, baby. We also want to touch on Patrick Allvin, his comments to Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic. Patrick Allvin, based on what he's saying, he might be ready to shake up this roster heading into the offseason. So let's touch more on that on the second segment, and we'll get to some of your comments as well, as always, here on Locked On Canucks. But before we do all that, let me introduce my co-host, Kyle Bowen. What's going on, brother?
We also got some Rick Tocchet quotes to potentially talk about, too, because I know we had an interview with Sportsnet 6:50 in the morning. All in all, though, the Jets of Winnipeg in the building tonight, and it's a first-round preview. It's the most difficult first round in Canucks history, supposedly, allegedly, assumingly, and potentially no Connor Garland tonight as well. So already missing Philip Hedl. Possibly missing Connor Garland. Brock Besser hasn't scored since 2004. Unbelievable, man. This is, like this whole conversation about the Canucks being boring. I think when you're dealing with this many injuries in one season, and maybe Allvin or Tocchet's touched on this in their last couple rebuttals with the media, but it seems like the only recipe for success, Trevor, for this team. It's like get good goaltending, play boring, and Quinn Hughes break it open somehow. And again, not to poo-poo over the imaginations of some Canucks fans, but that's just the way it is, because this team cannot stay healthy. It's the truth.
Well, honestly, it's not that dissimilar from the way the Jets play hockey. Now, the Winnipeg Jets do have more offensive firepower, which, again, we maybe wouldn't have predicted that heading into the season. But, Kyle Connor is one of the best in the game. Mark Scheifele's really stepped up his game. Gabe Vilardi, he's got more points than anyone on the Canucks this season. So they do got weapons offensively. But their game is based on a similar mentality to the Vancouver Canucks. It's defend well and then rely on good goaltending to win you games. And man, oh man, Connor Hellebuyck's the best in the biz, helping his team win a ton of games this season, obviously, right? I mean, look at his record. The guy is the clear front runner to win the Vezina. He belongs in the Hart conversation. But the other guy who belongs in that Hart conversation is Quinn Hughes. And Kyle, we've talked about it already. If Quinn Hughes can find a way to get these Canucks into the playoffs, he should be a Hart candidate. And not to get anything away from Connor Hellebuyck, but I mean, tonight it's two of the best of the NHL going up against each other, playing different positions. And those guys are going to be key tonight and when these teams meet in the first round of playoffs as well.
I guarantee it. We're making the playoffs. We're playing the Winnipeg Jets. I know off to a bit of a negative start for me based on, again, the Connor Garland news, but there's an opportunity, again, for Quinn Hughes to make some Hart Trophy noise. And maybe that's mission impossible considering he's missed like 14 or 15 games this season, or 13. But maybe he gets himself back into winning the Norris Trophy if, again, he leads the Canucks into a playoff spot. And Trevor, like, great things happen. Okay, LeBron James, he beat the Golden State Warriors back in 2017, 2018, 2016? Was it 2016? Came back from 3-1. You know what I'm saying? Like he practically did that all by himself against Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. I know LeBron had Kyrie Irving, but I'm just trying to say maybe Quinn Hughes can beat the Jets by himself. And honestly, Trevor, that's what it's kind of feeling like. And I'm here for the show as a Canucks fan. And again, this season's been so, what's the word again? Tumultuous? Traumalicious? It's been so traumalicious all season long.
Traumalicious, yeah.
It's been hard. It's been a roller coaster. And it's hard to, hold on to that positivity game in and game out, especially when you're playing the Winnipeg Jets. But I go into these games always looking forward to the potential of Quinn Hughes winning one game by himself. Okay? And speaking of which, if this is a first round preview, okay, all I'm saying is this, okay? I know it's a team sport, but in the first round, anything can happen. If Quinn Hughes is playing at peak powers, which may seem like impossible news considering he's always hurt, but let's say he does, the Canucks have a chance to beat the Jets. They have a chance to win at least one round in the playoffs. I'll go down on that because I just believe in Quinn Hughes that much. Now, it all starts today, Trevor. Get the 2 points tonight, and Quinn Hughes, be that dog. Put yourself back in the race for winning the Norris and the Hart.
100%. And again, with the Winnipeg Jets, I think there is a bit of a fraud alert mentality to them. We saw it last season, right? They were one of the best teams in the regular season. They get into the playoffs and they get waxed by the Colorado Avalanche. And that's been a familiar trend. And obviously Canucks fans have gone through a lot of pain. Winnipeg Jets fans have gone through similar pain in the fact that they actually lost their team for about 15 seasons. But look at the recent playoff history. They get absolutely throttled by the Colorado Avalanche, losing 5 games. The year before, they lost to Vegas in 5 games. That was a series where Pierre-Luc Dubois was floating around out there. And again, that was a winnable series for them. They didn't make the playoffs the year before. The year before that was the North Division season. They swept the Oilers and then got swept by the Montreal Canadiens. And then in the bubble season, they lost the Flames in the qualifying round. They've just had a lot of playoff sadness there in Winnipeg. And again, they're better than a mushy middle team because of Connor Hellebuck, because of guys like Scheifele and Josh Morrissey elevating their game as well. Like they're better players now than they were a couple seasons ago. Kyle Connor obviously as well. Yeah. I think Kyle Connor's always been one of the best goal scorers in the NHL since he entered the league.
Yeah.
But look, this isn't a Winnipeg Jets team that is completely unbeatable. And again, you look at the profile of this team. They are a team like the Canucks that defends well. They're sexier offensively, not quite as sexy defensively, but then, of course, Connor Hellebuck is the great equalizer. And you look at special teams, look, they got one of the best power plays, if not the best power play in the NHL. We're also going against a Canucks team that has one of the best penalty kills in the NHL. Okay, the Vancouver Canucks, the 5th best penalty kill in the NHL right now, the best penalty kill in the NHL since January 1st. That is a big thing to consider when you got a Winnipeg Jets team with a 31% power play. The Canucks can't, if they can neutralize that, prevent some of the damage at even strength. And again, the Winnipeg Jets, not the most threatening team offensively at even strength. I mean, they absolutely lit us up in the last game when they beat us 6-1. But if the Canucks can just defend better the way they've done all season, clog up the zone, then they should be fine against the Winnipeg Jets team. And again, we'll see what happens tonight. But I believe that the Canucks would stand a chance against the Winnipeg Jets in round 1 of the playoffs.
We're talking mad shit. Okay, we'd have to get really lucky though. And remember, Winnipeg's a lot bigger than us. So Trevor, we don't have to fool the fans, okay? Come on, let's not lie to the people. Again, it's Quinn Hughes or bust. Quinn Hughes has to be superhero Connor McDavid for the Canucks to have a chance in a series against honestly any other playoff team, considering how we've played collectively all season long. Okay, it's Quinn Hughes, Kevin Lankinen, or bust. That all being said, I will touch on this. If the penalty kill is hot going into the playoffs, and we again, different scenario, I know. But, we lost to the Oilers due in large part to Pettersson being shit and just being invisible. Guy was already on vacation. And then the Demko injury, too. But we also lost to the Oilers because the Canucks power play sucked. But the Oilers penalty kill was just so amazing. So amazing. That whole series. I'm not sure how they did against Dallas, but maybe it was great, too, against Dallas. And they got themselves into, the Stanley Cup Finals. All that being said, a good PK is a very, very important thing to have in the playoffs. Now, just to tally off the main point, and all the fans agree. Trevor, again, don't lie to the people. Don't get their hopes up. If it's Quinn Hughes or nothing, okay, that's the only way we're beating any team in the playoffs. And I also say that because the Canucks are soft. The Canucks are soft. They're not built like a playoff team. I'm sorry. We've seen it in recent history, and you're going to play against one of the biggest teams in hockey, supposedly, the Winnipeg Jets. right? Like, come on. It's Quinn Hughes or bust. Like, I don't see them standing a chance against Winnipeg unless Quinn Hughes goes off, which, again, I believe he could do it for one round. Like, carry a whole team past the team that hasn't done well in the playoffs in recent history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, again, I think the argument for the Canucks, I mean, look, there's some strategic stuff that I'm obviously saying right now, and I'm pumping up the boys in
Yeah,
blue
you
and
are.
green, but it is a mental game at the end of the day, and this Winnipeg Jets team, they've shown some fragility in the playoffs. They've shown that they can be a good regular season team and maybe not step up to the occasion when it really matters in the playoffs. And look, the Vancouver Canucks haven't been the strongest mental team this season as well either, but look, you talk about, Quinn Hughes has to be that dog. It's got to be more than that to me. Like, you do need Pettersson or some of these more offensive players to step up and provide a moment, right? And that's all you really need is a moment, which, again, Rick talked about it today, is players who do a better job of just getting to the middle. We've seen that more from Pettersson of late. And again, who knows what's going to happen tonight? But, I'm confident that, hopefully Pettersson can keep rounding into form. And by the time these teams meet in the playoffs, maybe this guy has, 15 goals in his last 25 games. Let's go, baby.
Well, that's it right there. We went 11 minutes into the show when we finally brought up Elias Pettersson. I mean, I know he's been playing better, but I think there's still a little bit of skepticism from, or maybe like a lack of belief that he could carry on this type of performance, not just tonight, but in a playoff series. Because again, the Canucks are going to stand any chance to beat any team. It's like Quinn Hughes or bust. But then the other wild card is like, yo, what if Pettersson does come back? And then it's Pettersson and Hughes playing at their best. Dude, I'd be excited to watch that in a playoff series. Those are two really good players. Okay. Again, Pettersson playing at his best. Does that mean he plays like 24 to 26 minutes a game in the playoffs too? Maybe. Why not? To win one round? There's a slim chance again that this team gets out of one round, but there's those superstars that could do the most. Okay, Quinn Hughes and company, Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson and company, and your Vancouver Canucks. They play the Winnipeg Jets tonight, and all over the place to start off this episode. This again, thinking about the playoffs. Trevor, man, how can we not think about the playoffs when the Maple Leafs, my second favorite team, after yesterday, beat the Calgary Flames 6-2. So again, this is a huge game, and I wanna talk about moments, okay, on the other side, because this could be it. Okay, we could win this game and we can go 9-2-2 the rest of the way. Before the final handful of games of the season. Like, I believe this could be a moment tonight.
Again, a huge road trip coming up after tonight, and if you beat the best team in the NHL, which the Winnipeg Jets are statistically, then yeah, I think the Canucks are going to be believed in themselves the rest of the way. Let's cut to break. Let's get to the other side here. Talk about moments. Talk about Patrick Allvin. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every damn day. We'll be back on the other side after showing it our friends over at Upwork and Game Time, baby. Oh yeah, let's go. Oh man. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. And if you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivers incredible results. You can find people like me and Kyle and you, lots of talented people over there on Upwork. And it's cost effective, baby. Instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps find affordable top-tier freelancers to help you scale your business efficiently. So visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect top talent and grow your business today. And man, oh man, from Upwork over to our friends at Game Time. And Game Time, they helped me and Kyle out finding the best deal for tickets against the Utah Hockey Club on Sunday. And I checked the other apps, man. And Game Time, they came through with the cheapest tickets possible, man. It allowed me to afford an extra brewski or two. It allowed me and Kyle to afford some pizzas after the game, baby. We did it all because of Game Time. And Game Time, they got that feature called Game Time Picks. It filters out the fluff and shows you only incredible deals on the best seats, so you don't have to waste your time scrolling through thousands of tickets. And you know what? There's super deals even. Wow, super deals. Game time picks. They even highlight super deals, giving you the best bang for your buck. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Just download the Game Time app and create an account and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.
We back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab, for giving us the space to give you that West Coast vibes. Hey, one love to the Locked On Podcast Network too, okay? Honestly, friendly people there and instilling that culture to give you your Canucks every minute. There's like a 99% chance that I will be on the post-game show tonight. I got some remote work I got to do, but I should be able to get to a studio to give you the show. And Trevor, again, was I too pessimistic off the top talking about the Canucks' chances against the Jets tonight? Because we barely went into a game day preview, but this game has so much of an opportunity to, build off of a moment if all goes well for your Canucks. Yet again, I'm just thinking that it's impossible to do so unless we get like 3 points from Quinn Hughes. That's what it feels like today. Okay, against the Jets, Trevor.
Well, it's funny because I think you and we switched roles there for a second. Usually you're the emotional guy and I'm the realistic guy. And we kind of switched up there for a second. You went all realistic. I went all emotional. So no, I don't think you're being too pessimistic. You're just being realistic. It's the Vancouver Canucks team, a team battling for the playoff lives, going up against the best team in the NHL and going up against a team who's handed the Canucks their lunch for, more or less the past, 5-10 years, man.
They killed us a couple weeks ago. Trevor. Okay, hold up. Okay, before you go off, dude. This is your daughter's been waiting for this game. I forgot about this one. This is the one where Kyle Connor, taught Trevor's daughter the game of hockey. Okay, because he scored 3 goals in like 2 minutes. It was excellent. Okay, like if I was an NHL fan, I'd be like, yo, this is exciting. This is must see. That's how much he was flying in that first period. Again, a natural hat trick in the first period. Bro, they kicked our ass. Like I feel like that's why I feel like today's Mission Impossible, man, because they're that much better than us, aren't they?
I gotta say something here, man. Yeah, so my daughter, when she thinks about hockey now, she thinks about Kyle Connor. She runs around the house saying Kyle Connor because what she remembers is me turning on the Canucks game. And for those who don't know the story, the highlights came on after the Jets lambasted the Canucks 6-1. And she's got this TV going, go Canucks, go Canucks, go. And I'm cheering with her because I don't want to break her spirit. And what does she see? She sees Kyle Connor scoring goal after goal after goal. And now she says the name Kyle Connor before she says daddy, okay? She says Kyle Connor before she says daddy. So all I ask for the Vancouver Canucks, I don't care if it's Quinn Hughes. I don't care if it's Kiefer Sherwood. I don't care if it's Nils Amon. Somebody give my daughter a moment tonight so she stops saying the words Kyle Connor in my house, man. Unbelievable.
Holy. This is actually serious news, Trevor Beggs, because again, this is a first round preview. It might be you versus your daughter in the first round of playoffs. Like, yo, that's like, yo, come on. Too early, man. We all got to be on the same team, but yo, she could be screaming Kyle Connor some more because he's an exciting player, and the Jets are an exciting team, and they win games, and winning, man, so important. Again, now we're going on a little tangent, but I think about the children a lot. Okay, I think about the kids, man. I think about the future. Gotta, okay, and the Canucks need to make the playoffs this year, so more kids, from the Lower Mainland or across BC or Canucks fans across the globe, including, your children potentially, the young ones who don't get control of the remote, right? We got to get them riled up again to watch the Canucks in April, okay, and potentially in May. It's good for the future because, man, if the Canucks miss the playoffs again, there's going to be an 8-year-old like already having to deal with the reality, like, oh, you don't make the playoffs every year? Oh, I can watch another team. You know what I'm saying? We already lost a lot of young Canucks fans. They're in the Benning years and the Willie Darnay years, okay? I don't want to go through that again, man. We got to make the playoffs, man. I got to Trevor, for the sake of your family, not to put your family on blast here, to save your family, the Canucks need to make the playoffs, Trevor. It's pretty crucial. Okay, so I just hope they win tonight, man.
I'm emotional, man. I'm gonna have to be buying Kyle Connor jerseys if the Canucks lose to the Jets tonight, or if they lose to the Jets in the first round as well. So, my relationship with my daughter, it's riding on the Canucks versus the Jets both tonight and next month, man. So, emotional times for sure. Kyle, thanks for getting worked up on my behalf, man. I know you're the emotional guy.
It's gonna be tough, man, because winning fixes everything, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm only a Canucks fan because, when we started watching hockey, the West Coast Express, the Sedins, Luongo, like, it was easy, That's gonna be hard for your daughter if, like, they don't get the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah, we had moments last year, right? We were waving the towel, dancing on the living room, saying "Go Canucks, go!" Game 7 versus the Oilers. So I just want my daughter to experience some sports happiness, man. A sports happiness involved in the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, unbelievable stuff.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Like I said, it's an emotional day. I think we need to. We're gonna cut for a quick break here. Wrap the show on the other side with some of Alvin's comments, some of your comments as well. Kyle needs to get some water. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every damn day, baby.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
I'm back, Trevor. I'm back. And yeah, that was tough, man. That's why I get pissed off when Elston and some people are talking about securing the 11th overall pick in the 2025 entry draft, and that being the most important thing the Canucks have to do because of like what's on the line here. Anyways, Locked On Canucks, Kyle Bowen, that right there is Trevor Beggs, the number one dad in the world. If my dad's listening to this episode, I'm sorry. It's just the truth. And again, we played tonight, and I didn't know about Alvin talking to the media. I thought that was just a Rick Tocchet thing today, and he talked a lot more about Elias Pettersson today, and we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. But what did Alvin say first?
One of the first, look, there's three things that stood out to me in the article. So I think Pierre LeBrun started by asking just about the season in general, and he talked about the adversity and not wanting to use excuses, and talked about some of the good stories around the team. Name checking guys like Kevin Lankinen and Kiefer Sherwood. He even brought up Jake DeBrusk having a solid year points wise, which is great. But Jake DeBrusk, I think, is a little bit different from that. He's kind of been up and down. But a couple of things stood out to me. And first was he continues to double down on the Besser thing, which I find fascinating. Like even after I'd say he took a bit of a PR hit in terms of the messaging about Besser and how, they couldn't get anything for him and blah, blah, blah. He went on to basically say the same thing again. He said, unfortunately, I couldn't get what I felt was fair market value for him. You can read the market and set the price, or you think what the market value is for Brock Besser. But unfortunately, teams had different opinions, and that's where we ended up. So again, saying pretty clearly that he was willing to trade Brock Besser, but the price wasn't there. And basically that he was happy keeping Brock as his own rental. He didn't use the word rental in there, but I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding, Kyle, as you like to say. Brock Besser's sticking around with this team. They're not close on a contract, and he's apparently helping with the playoff push, even though we have not noticed him very much lately at all.
Yeah. I mean, again, Aquilini, he made that call. We don't can't just forget about that, okay? He did. He did, bro. He did. History tells the tale, right? Right? And I'm looking at the tale, and I'm telling you right now, Aquilini was like, we're not trading Brock. We got to keep him as our own rental. Because the way Alvin's just talking about him and being so open about him, like, dude, I mentioned this multiple times this year, and it's only because I'm not looking at last year. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I'm looking at that as an outlier for every individual on the Canucks outside of Quinn Hughes, okay? But I said it, bro. I said based on the way Brock's played for the majority of the season outside of 1 month, like we have to get an asset for him. And Alvin knows this too because he's not that good. He's not that good this year. Like you're not You're not falling so behind the Calgary Flames, the Utah Hockey Jazz, or the St. Louis Blues because you lose Brock Besser. Okay, this team still has Kevin Lankinen and Quinn Hughes and has a lot of good defensemen. I'm telling you the truth. But again, Aquilini went in there and said, yo, you're not trading Brock. We need it to be our own rental. And it is what it is. And I mean, again, I hope for Brock. I see a lot of people commented. A couple of people commented on our last video talking about why would Brock, or a couple videos ago, I'm sorry, the post-game show from our last game. And they said, oh, why would Brock want to play for this team after everything Alvin said about him in the media, right? Like, well, why would he want to do well for the Canucks? And I understand it to a point because at the end of the day, I know it's a job and it's business and it's hockey and there's miscommunication. There's a lot of dirty things going on. Like it's not, people talk about the whole PR thing going wrong for the Canucks. It's just not healthy for the employee to the employer, like this type of relationship. Okay. That being said, Brock Besser, there's people who pay money. The people who pay a lot of money to go to games. Like you play a children's game. You have one of the greatest jobs in the world. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. And I think sometimes for like the best athletes, they're able to avoid maybe some of the noise within like the organization and themselves because they understand how grateful, like every game. I know it's a long season, but every time the buzzer rings to start a game, it's like, yo, I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream. It's not that who cares if I hate Patrick Alvin? I get to play hockey and people pay to play here and people got my jersey on. That's why you bring it game in and game out. Oh, and then, you're playing with Quinn Hughes and he's trying to fight for a playoff spot. These guys, man, they got to get out of their own heads. And I know you're talking about individual contracts and it's business, but it's still a team sport. It's still the Vancouver Canucks. It's not the Brock Canucks. It's not just the hockey Canucks. So I hope for Brock's sake, like he's able to like ignore Patrick Alvin again somehow, even after the quotes that Trevor just spewed to us, and just like, yo, just bring it because we need him. You talked about Morrissey, Ehlers, Scheifele, Connor, Velarde, even Lowry's really good. Tanev, Shen. I'm missing people. Did I say Connor? Did I say Connor?
Cole Perfetti, 23. He's got more points than Brock Besser this season.
Like they just Hallebuck. Like, dude.
Dylan DeMello.
Can we have Hughes? Hughes is gonna bring it. Pettersson may bring it. Like we are begging for Brock Besser to do something. Do something, bro. Straight up. And the way he's playing right now, the only team that's gonna give him $8 million a year, maybe even $7 million a year. Now this is being rude as Buffalo.
Can you imagine Buffalo getting that done? Man, oh man. Yeah, I mean, look, Brock Besser, Kyle, you kind of broke it down already. It's, he was good earlier in the season. He was good up until he got the concussion. And even when he came back, he had 8 goals in 14 games in December. But since about the end of December, he's just been a ghost of himself. And, I'm thinking, like, can he do it without JT Miller? That's one of the big questions for the Canucks right now. And I like to believe he can, only because you look at that North Division season and he still played with Miller the majority of time that season, but he was still the best player on this team with or without Miller. But man, oh man, it's just the guy looks completely lost right now without JT Miller. And I'm bringing up the North Division season. That was 4 or 5 years ago now, right? So, I mean, Brock Besser's got to find a way to figure it out on his own. At practice day, he was skating with Pettersson and Höglander. I find that kind of interesting as well. It's like, oh, Petey's going a little bit, Höglander's going, okay, save Brock. Like, good luck, right? Unbelievable stuff. Okay, I did want to touch on a couple other things here about Alvin's interview, and I think some of these will be for later episodes. 2 other big takeaways for me from this chat was Alvin seems very comfortable rolling with Demko and Lankinen for the long term. And when he was asked about it, he says, quote, I do think there's room. Again, I have a lot of respect for Thatcher. He's got another year on his contract, and I believe if you look around the league and see what teams are allocating to goalies, I still think there's a good chance for us to keep both of them. And the last quote that really stood out to me was about targeting another young center. Alvin said, yes, definitely. We'll do that in the offseason, whether that's through trade or free agent signing. So that's an episode for us right there, Kyle. Which young center are the Canucks going to target this offseason? But in terms of Demko and Lankinen, are you believing Alvin, and are you comfortable with that strategy? Let's say Thatcher does get the Swayman Allmark deal. Are you comfortable paying $13 million to goalies?
I think I'm more just looking at it for next year. Like, you're paying $10 million for goalies, and that's all. What happens after? Like, we have to see what Demko is. But I know this team is comfortable, having $5 million be allocated, or 5+ being allocated to a potential backup or to the second goalie in Demko. Okay, it is what it is. Or if it's Lankinen, right? They switch spots. Who knows? It's just the way it is, because at his best, Demko is such a talent, and just more so, I believe Alvin when he says I have a lot of respect for Thatcher Demko, because you know it, because you could tell, you could just tell, and it's actually caused Demko some pain in his life too, because he works super hard. But this organization values the hardest working players. They do, and they value them even more so when the most skilled players are the hardest working players. That's why they're so open. And honestly, most of the time I would like them to do this behind closed doors, but that's why they're so open about talking shit about their players if they're not in shape, or if they didn't do something right in the summer. But I'm telling you, there's a good chance that Demko, and this is crazy to say, worked harder than Elias Pettersson during the summer. There's a good chance that Demko's working harder right now than Brock Besser, because that's the way he's wired, doing the most. So when I hear Alvin say I have a lot of respect for him, that's him saying, yo, don't worry, you're not going anywhere. We're not going to force the issue with you and your wife having to move somewhere else. Like, we'll honor the contract. You're coming back next year. And who, if he gets hurt and he's not 100% LTIR, whatever, they'll make that decision in September, October, whatever. But I believe Patrick Alvin, when he, talks about the amount of respect he has for Thatcher Demko and his mindset of having 2 good goalies going into next year. And I know there's a lot of us like, oh, how could you say you have 2 good goalies when we don't know what we have in Demko? I know that's the truth. You don't know if he's going to play another game, right? We just don't know. We don't know if he's going to play another 10 games. We don't know. But on that 1% chance that he will, the Canucks are willing to take that chance. And honestly, one love to Alvin for saying that about Demko, because that's what the Canucks are missing, and they missed him so much this year, not just for what he does on the ice, but what he does in that room. He's such a leader, such a dog. So they need Demko. They need more guys like him.
Yeah, 100%, man. And look, I do think, again, what Alvin's alluding to is the potential for them to stay together long term. And kind of like you said, there's so much unknown with Demko. But for me personally, if Demko comes back next season, he doesn't have to be Vezina level. But if he's still, an upper echelon, above average goalie, I'm comfortable with the Canucks having that, because look at the way this team's built. Look at them under Rick Tocchet. This is not a team that is thriving offensively. This is a team that needs stability in net and needs good defense. And Thatcher Demko, if healthy, can provide that, especially with Kevin Lankinen there as the 1B. So I think the Canucks got to stick with their bedrock moving forward. A couple other news notes headed tonight, and we'll wrap up here on Locked On Canucks. At practice, I don't think we mentioned off the top of Connor Garland, absent from practice.
Making a game-time decision. Game-time decision, though. Tocchet just came out with the quotes, okay? So game-time decision for Garland. And size don't matter. He's tough.
Size don't matter. He's the toughest dude in the Vancouver Canucks, despite being the smallest forward of the NHL. Linus Karlsson were called under emergency conditions. Lecker-Mackey moves into Garland's spot on the power play. We'll see what all shakes down ahead of tonight. Interesting, again, like I said, Höglander, EP40, and Besser get to skate together. DeBrusk, Suter, and Sherwood on the second line. O'Connor, Bluger, Karlsson, third. Joshua, Amon, Lecker-Mackey on the fourth. The Lions in a blender again, but someone's got to step up for your Vancouver Canucks tonight, baby. And the last line I've noticed, based on practice, DPD gets back into the mix. Looks like he's getting on the right side with Derek Forbort. Victor Mancini was the extra at practice. The Canucks, they need to make some magic happen against the Winnipeg Jets. Like you said, Kyle, this would be a huge win, not just for the standings, but to give the Canucks confidence before they head out on the road here.
Moments, man. It's a moment. It's a moment for Elias Pettersson to step up too. Rick Tocchet talking a lot about Elias Pettersson during his hit on Sportsnet. Again, referring to like what he might have done last summer and not being good enough, and how much work still has to be done with Pettersson. That being said, it is good to know that like Pettersson, I feel like he learned something courtesy of Ian McIntyre, real talk. And he's been able to block out some of the noise that he made for himself for the majority of the last 365 days and just tap into his instinct, because maybe his fitness levels and his knee can't lead him there. But at least you pay a guy 11.6 to have the killer instinct. Okay. So screw what you don't have. If you have a stick in your hands and 2 skates, you're making shit happen. And he's been doing that. So hopefully, fitness aside, he's able to continue to do that, because again, the Canucks need to make the playoffs. And again, we're playing the Jets tonight. We need Quinn Hughes. We need Elias Pettersson. We also need to drink some water and read some comments, okay? Here on Locked On Canucks. Okay, look at this comment from Mother Nucker. Okay, Mother Nucker.
Mother
He's been
Nucker.
busy. Mother Knucker's been busy, and a bit. We're getting up there too, Trevor. Okay, like I feel like he's gonna I feel like Mother Knucker is like us 10 years from now. Okay, real talk. When I look at Mother Knucker, look at his DP. When I look in the mirror, I feel like I'm looking at myself. Anyways, he hasn't been here in a while. Feels like that, and he just sent us $10, and he said, "Go get some water on Cactus Club on me, boys. Okay, go Canucks, go." And I miss JT Miller. Trevor, man, looks like we're going to Cactus Club now. Cactus Club, I've talked about this before, and this video has been shared 1,700 times in the last couple of days. Okay, it's me talking about Scott Road Cactus Club. Get the truffle fries. Surrey knows best. And Trevor, would you say Scott Road Cactus is in Delta or Surrey? Okay, be the hammer.
Oh man, what side of the road's it on? Is it on the?
Hey, what does your heart say? F the logistics. What does your heart say?
My heart would say Delta.
What the? Anything on Scott Road is Surrey.
Come on, man. Look how many. Like Surrey's already got a few Cactus Clubs, man.
Next comment, shut. And then one love to David Martin, man, for sending us $20 because he didn't. I think he's feeling guilty that he didn't buy his beers the other night at the Utah Jazz game. But yeah, we didn't link up. It's all good. You can take the $20 back, man.
That's all good, buddy. David Martin, we appreciate you for the super chat. That's the biggest super chat we've ever gotten, man. That's unbelievable. David Martin, I'd come over there and kiss your mug right now, man.
$20. That's all it would take for a kiss for you. $20. Anyways, David, you don't have to send us that. You don't have to buy us. You don't have to buy us beer. None of our fans have to give us anything, man. We're just so lucky to be doing this and just I don't know, living the dream, Trevor. Today was a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying the fact that we got the people and we got some belief, okay? Because I don't know how we're beating the Jets tonight or how we're beating the Jets in the first round of the playoffs, but dude, Trevor, for your family's sake, the playoffs matter, okay? So anyone that's watching this right now, anyone that's a Locked On Canucks supporter, a fan of this, I know it's been such a, again, trauma-licious year, but just hope for the playoffs, okay? Because take it away, Trevor. I don't want to go there.
Vancouver Canucks, if they're going to beat the Winnipeg Jets tonight, they're going to need to not allow 3 goals in the first period like they did against the Jets in their last game. Look, I think the Jets are a beatable team, but likelihood is you're not going to run up 5 goals in them. Although I will say the Vancouver Canucks did beat the Jets 5-0 the last time the Jets played a game at Rogers Arena. So never say never, baby. I think they'll also need a big game from Nils Höglander. 9 career goals in 17 career games against the Winnipeg Jets. Tonight's the night for EP40 to keep making magic happen. Maybe bust a slump for Brock and Nils Höglander as well, man. He's been statistically the best season of his career has been in March. And statistically, the team that he's had the most success against has been the Winnipeg Jets. There's a path for the Canucks to win. Believe for the sake of my relationship with my daughter, and just believe because it's fun to believe in the Vancouver Canucks, man. And the Winnipeg Jets, they haven't really done anything yet, man. Kyle, sounds so, buddy.
Hit the like button and go Canucks go. Thanks for all, again, the support, man. Me and Trevor living the dream. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us a space. Also to give you that West Coast bias. And one love to the Locked On Podcast Network, okay? Peace out.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.